Hello, my young theologians and philosophers. So I wanted to make this to talk to you about how to do a good 5-mark question. It's very similar to a 4-mark, but with one crucial difference. So this should be a structure that you can apply to any 5-mark question that you get, whether it's in the beliefs, practices, or themes papers, whether it's Christian or Muslim, etc., whether you're in year 9 or in year 10. So a 5-mark question always asks you for 2 things. So it could be explain 2 influences, explain 2 teachings, explain 2 views on a certain thing. So it's always asking you for 2 things. So to get your first points, you need to give those 2 things, and that will get you 2 marks if you just give the 2 things that it's asking for, the 2 teachings, the 2 beliefs, the 2 opinions, for example. To get to 4 marks, you need to explain both of them. So it's very similar to a 4-mark so far, because you're giving a point and explaining it, giving a point and explaining it. So what I like to do is firstly, and then what it is, and this means that. I've done both bits, and then I leave a space, and then I do secondly, I say it, and then I say this means that. And that structure reminds me I've got to do 2. Each one I've got to give the point, and then I've got to explain it. The difference is for a 5-mark is that you always need to refer to scripture, or also it says a source of authority. So within Christianity, that could be the Lord's Prayer, or it could be the Creed. Some of you have been learning about the Creed. I believe in God the Father. Or it could be even a really famous song lyric, like the lyrics to Amazing Grace, for example. Within Islam, you could have the Shahada, for example, as the source of authority. Okay. So but scripture is your best bet to say, the Bible and the Quran, for example, and the Hadith. So that is what you can use for that 5th mark. So the question is, where do we put it if we've got our 2 points? And there are 2 ways you can do this. You could do your question like a normal 4-marker, what it is, this means that, space, what it is, this means that. And at the end, you can add on to your second one a point of reference, scripture, or authority. So here I've got, firstly, this means that, secondly, and then here it says Christians or Muslims believe this, because it says in the, obviously, Bible or Quran or whatever your authority is that, and here you put the quote, or what it is that it says, okay? So this is my first option, here, and then I add sort of onto the end of this one, my quote. But you can also get the mark, and I marked for the thematic paper, and so I did this as a marker. You can get the mark if your explanation has used a quote. So say in my explanation of my first point, I've used a quote and I've put a quote in my explanation, that would give me 3 marks. I'd get 1 for saying what it is, and 2, 3 for my explanation, which includes a quote. So it sounds quite complicated and you have to make sure you do it, okay? But you can get 3 marks for that first bit if that has a quote or a source of authority in it. So it's slightly quicker for you if you get into the habit of writing and using the quote. And then secondly, that would give you the 2 marks. If you do a quote in each, you're not going to get 6 marks. It's a maximum of 5. So I want to keep this quite generic, about 5 markers for any of the topics across the 2 years. You give 2 points, and for each you explain it. And you can, option 1, add a quote on at the end of your explanation. Or option 2, you do 2 points and 2 explanations, but you can use a quote as that explanation, as part of the explanation here. So that's your 2 options for it, and that's a 5-mark question. And you should be looking to spend less than 5 minutes, so you've got the time longer for the essays. So 5 minutes max for writing one of these. Okay, good luck. I look forward to reading them.